Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
So the launch has been done, the book cover is released, everybody has watched it, you have watched it yourselves. So your quick thoughts on how is the cover, how do you find it?
It's beautiful, it's a very strong cover. I mean, his stance, I didn't know he was a pirate, he just told me he's a pirate. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
interpretation.
Yeah, the first thing that came to mind was like he looks like a pirate, and I like the Viking touch with the helmet and everything, it's very strong.
The design has been made by this team called Octobuzz. I think some of them are here. We should give them a
round of applause.
They did. He looks real badass, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's the first time in one of my book covers that we're showing the face of a character. We never show the face. But in this, we actually spent a lot of time on the expression. And this is hyperreal drawing, right? Obviously. So we wanted to get across what Raavan is about.
It's great.
So you've already answered one of the questions which I was planning for. Once just I had a glance at that. All right, there's a face which is unveiled and revealed for the very first time.
The guys who are watching it on Facebook, Instagram, you guys will know this, that yeah, I normally never show a face. Yeah.
So a thought behind that? Like not in the first 5 books and for this one?
Yeah, because I wanted to leave it to the imagination of the readers, the first few books. But in this one, you know, one of the things that we realized is actually there is an image of Raavan already in the minds of most people because of this television serial in the 1980s. So we see Raavan as just a pure demented demon, right? And that's sadly our impression of him. That's not the way he was portrayed in the Valmiki Ramayana, which is the original Ramayana. In that, there's a nuanced take on Raavan. He had good points, he had bad points as well. So we wanted to show his face because, you know, seeing his eyes, seeing his face will give you immediately give you a cue that this is a different Raavan from what you've normally at least seen in the modern day in India. So we wanted to do that.
Wow, and I believe you've got so many followers all across the world, and from now on, this is going to be the face of Raavan we all would be watching in the henceforth coming, whatever it is, maybe a book. They have to ask for the copyrights for sure, for that particular face, but in the movies as well, or in the series as well, that is something we are looking forward to. That is only because it is the Amish's effect on all its lovely readers, friends, and fans. So thank you for giving that particular face, and it looks amazing.
Thank you. The credit should go to Octobuzz. So.
Definitely. Applause to the entire team who has worked really hard and creating that beautiful cover, or a poster we may call it. So we've already spoken about the cover here. Talking more about the book now, this is not to give away more about it because we are about to unveil the launch date as well. So that is for taking in some time. But before we go to the book, there are a few insights we all wanted to know, for me personally as well, on behalf of everyone out there. So since the first book in the series was about Lord Ram, the second one was about Lady Sita, and now third one we all are referring to the Raavan, it reads itself in the title. But now there's a question which comes to my mind. So because you've given the title Raavan, you have portrayed him right there on the cover as well. So should we all be taking him as a protagonist or an antagonist? And there's an add-on to it. After having swirled the pages of the entire book, and I'm really sure everybody's going to do it very, very soon, is there a point where we all start to empathize on Raavan at some point?
Okay. You know, I mean, he's in traditional Sanskrit storytelling style, in Sanskrit, the word for villain, what we are told, is Khalnayak. But actually, villain for Khalnayak is actually a wrong translation. That's not what Khalnayak actually means. Nayak is someone who takes the story forward. Khala means doubtful. So anyone who takes a story in a doubtful direction is the Khalnayak. It doesn't necessarily mean villain. It's just, because villain is a very loaded term, right? So in the Valmiki Ramayana and the original versions, he's not seen as a villain. He's the antagonist. Lord Ram is the protagonist. That's the way it is. And I think that's how I have tried to portray him. There's a lovely line that the marketing guys came up with in the blurb at the back, that without the darkness, light has no purpose. And that, I think, describes Raavan to a major extent, because without a so-called villain, what would the gods do? Right? They need someone to fight. So, the greatest god needs the greatest Khalnayak. That's what makes him very interesting and exciting as a character to write about as well. He's not just a thug. He's not just someone who kills. He's a brilliant scholar. He's a brilliant musician. He's invented instruments which exist. And at least myths say that he invented those instruments which exist till today. So Rudravina, which is probably the best stringed instrument that one can find, that was invented by him in honor of Lord Shiva. The Raavan Hatta, the Rajasthani, I'm sure all of you must have heard of it. That was also apparently invented by him. The word Raavan Hatta means the sound of Ravan's grief. So he was a very deep guy. Massive ego also. Severe anger management issues also, obviously. But an interesting character to write about. Yeah, no doubt.